Good morning, everybody. It is Tammy coming to you live from my office this morning, coming to you a little bit later than what I anticipated coming to you live this morning for Wake and Bake. But we all know we're holding space that everything happens in divine time, and I'm always just right on time. So it's 10:36 on 2/27. So as you jump on here today, do me a couple of favors. Number one, say hello and tell us where you're watching from. And then if you are part of our private community, please drop me a hashtag Grateful Fed in the comments. Do the things it says below. I am live, like I always tell you, in a couple of places today. I'm live on my personal timeline. So if you're friends with me, you're seeing this on my personal timeline. If you're on my personal timeline, feel free to give this a share out. I really appreciate that. I'm also live on YouTube. So if you're watching this on the YouTube, if you're over on YouTube versus Facebook, do me a favor, make sure you give me a little thumbs up. You hit that little like button below and you hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when I go live. You'll get an email notification. Like I just got an email notification on my phone that said, hey, you're live. I'm like, hey, I know I'm live. So, and then I'm also live in the Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles. And as we move, it's Monday morning. I have not. Good morning, Ms. Reynolds. Good morning. Mel will be back tomorrow. So if y'all can give me some hearts, some O faces, some thumbs up, whatever you need to give us. Mel will be back tomorrow to do all the things that Mel does around here that we had no idea all the things, and we're so happy to have Mel back. Today, and I'm glad there's many of you watching, and I hope that you'll do me a favor and you'll also tag a friend for me if you don't mind. The reason that I say that is because we missed Sunday sermon yesterday, and I went to see my brother yesterday. My sister and I had a great day fellowshipping and just visiting each other, driving down the road, just kind of talking about things. And then I was sitting in my chair last night. Yay, Donna. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, everybody's. So say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Do all the things it says below. Tag a friend. Make sure somebody sees this. So I was sitting in my chair last night watching all of my Sunday night programs, right? Anybody else have Sundays are kind of my day to just kind of veg out and kind of I do my order, come in the morning, do my things. But Sunday evening, I do watch some HBO shows. So one of the things that I've been watching is The Last of Us, which is that mushroom apocalyptic thing. We watch this other show called BMF, which is Black Mafia Family, that's on this other show on Stars or whatever. It's one of our other shows we watch. And then I normally try to find something. I'll just go and I'll randomly open either TikTok or Reels, or I will flip to some random station on the television a couple of times a week usually. And something will come to me that's hey, this is the message was meant for you, right? And yesterday is no exception. I really was thinking to myself yesterday, I'm you know what? I was I am Sunday sermoned out right now. I'm that's just the truth of the matter. Anybody else ever had a day when you're I just don't have any kind of I don't have any motivation in me. I don't have any words of wisdom in me. I told my sister, I'm I was it's interesting. I try to be inspirational. I try to find these things, and God, source, whatever, has been putting them right in my path. They're hey, this is for you, but it is also for somebody else. And the last week or so, I have been struggling personally myself. And so one of the things that I decided to do was go back to basics, right? And I'm we're working on aligning our chakras. We're working on our energy, right? And I am actively standing in trust and walking in faith. And that's when that kind of thing happens. We're called to do that kind of work. Sometimes we kind of feel imposter syndrome, or we're not worthy, or we don't have a message, or how can I be inspiring when I'm really struggling to hold space for me? And, I say the messages come when the messages are meant to come. And that's why today's Wake and Bake with Updates, right? Wake and Bake with Updates says, the message today was, are you a cow or a buffalo? And we're going to talk about that because the thing that I saw and heard and the things that came to my brain and the inspiration and how it comes up is just when you say God works in mysterious ways or the universe or source or whatever your words are, right? I was saying whatever your words are, don't look anybody's young, whatever your whatever it is that, how you get your messages, whatever you call it, divine intervention, whatever the words may be. When God, said, hey, Tammy, I'm talking to you, when my angels, gods, and helpers respond to me, it was very much in something that was very like, oh, it's very, to me, it's almost like, aha, aha. So as I was saying, I was sitting in my chair last night, kind of flipping through stuff, and I saw this discussion. It was just a discussion about cows and buffaloes. Cows and buffaloes. And it very much was like spoke directly to my heart. So how many of you have ever heard of or know anything? If you know anything, like what do you know? Tell me what you know in the comments, like that they're bovine or that they this or whatever. What is your knowledge on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's make this easy. Okay. On a scale of 1 being I know nothing, I've never seen a picture of these things. Is I know nothing. Scale of 1 to 10. 10 that means like I am an expert in cows and buffaloes. I know everything there is to know. On a scale of I don't even know what a cow or a buffalo, I don't know the difference, all the way up to 10 being I know everything there is to know. Where are you on the scale of knowledge about cows and buffaloes? Before yesterday, I was probably, I would say, a solid 5. And I'm going to say that because I grew up on a dairy farm, so I know things about animals and cows because I grew up around cows. I showed cows and calves. I cleaned the calf barn out as part of my job. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are here talking today about cows and buffaloes, and we're asking everybody to drop a number in the comment. Everybody that's watching me, drop a number between 1 means I don't even know what a cow or what the difference is, all the way up to 10 saying I know everything there is to know about both. So I saw this topic, this discussion about the difference between cows and buffaloes. And I'm curious about things. So the interesting thing that they talked about was behavior during bad weather. And I grew up on a farm, and I knew that when there was bad weather coming, that the cows were going to try to get as far away from the bad weather as they could. They normally huddle up, they lay down, they know how to like ride out a storm, whatever, right? But what I did not know, right, was that cows and buffaloes both have this very keen sense of recognizing when a storm is coming. And they both have very keen animal instincts on how to handle that. And I'm not seeing any numbers here in the comments, so I'm guessing there's a little bit of delay. I'm expecting some numbers between 1 to 10, y'all. 1. So he's like, I don't even know the difference between the two. I love it. I need to see y'all's numbers in the comments now. I need some feedback today. We're going to have a conversation today. So they both have this very innate instinct to know when a storm is coming, right? But what a cow does, right? A cow knows that a storm is coming, can sense it, knows what, sees it on the horizon or whatever, right? And a cow turns around and tries to get as far away from the storm as it can. Whereas a buffalo senses the storm, and the buffalo's instincts are to run towards the storm, right? So the cows are like, I see what's happening. I can recognize it. I have the sense to know that shit's coming down the pike. I'm going to leave dodge. Where a buffalo says it's coming and they run at it. I want to know, knowing that, like now we've got one little nugget of information about cows and buffaloes, right? That they both have this like innate sense to know when a storm is coming, when bad weather is approaching. Cows run from it, buffalo run to it. I want to know, what do you think, like in that, with knowing that information, are you a cow or are you a buffalo, right? Do you have the ability to sense when something is getting ready to go down the pike, which they both do? And then I want to know, do you like, I'm getting the hell out of the way, I'm not going to be in this path of this destruction? Or do you run right into the eye of the storm? Which one are you? Just what are you? Are you a cow or are you a buffalo? Do you run into the storm? Or do you try to avoid and get away from the storm like a cow? And so as, you know, the conversation in this thing that I was watching about the cows and the buffalo, took place. So Amanda says that she's a buffalo. She runs into the storm. She runs directly into the storm. She's a buffalo. Anybody else a buffalo or a cow? Who's a cow? Who's a buffalo? Who's running away from the storm or who's running into the storm? When I was listening to this conversation about the cow and the buffalo, all of these things and these journal prompts and all these things started coming into me and coming into me and coming into me. And when they continue to talk about it, they're like, here's what happens, right? So Amanda says she's a buffalo. Anybody else a buffalo, a cow? What are you? Good morning, Katie in Florida. She says she's a cow. She runs away from the storm. Anybody else? Like, I just want to know. It's like, no, there's no right or wrong answer. We're going to talk about this, and we're going to ask the question again at the end to see where we land at the end of it. But it brought this thought pattern to mind. This, like I told you, like when I'm like, I need inspiration, God, I'm like, here's the thing. I'm like, right now, I'm in a place of holding space for me, and I am not feeling as authentic as I need to feel to move forward in my work because I have some needs and some wants that are unmet. And God goes, you're always going to have some needs and wants that are unmet. It does not mean that you're not an inspiration to others because you found ways to meet some of the needs and wants that people are still struggling for. So as I was having this conversation with God, with source, with whatever, so Susie says, it depends on how bad the storm is. Okay. So that's interesting too. I'm glad that you said that. We're going to hold all this. There's no right or wrong answers, y'all. The cow runs away from the storm, tries to get out of the path, goes the other way. They herd together. They lay down, all the things when they get tired. The buffalo says, oh my God, there's a fucking storm. I'm going to go charge right into the storm. I'm going to charge head first into the storm. Right. So when I was, like I said, dealing with all this and these things are coming out, God said, there are things, the things that you have got mastered. There are people who are still struggling with that. A buff a cow. I am both. Okay. And I think that Susie, the honest to goodness truth is, right, is that we can all be both. But I'm going to tell you the analogy that came to mind and my thoughts on this. And then I want you to reassess which one you choose to be moving forward. Okay. So here's the thought process of this, right? So as the storm is approaching a field, and I've seen this because I've lived on a farm. I grew up on a dairy farm. There's lots of massive fields for cows to graze and roam and eat and kind of be about. And if a storm is coming, all the cows herd up together and they run away from it, right? The buffalo run into it. So here's the analogy that I'm making, okay, with this. When the buffalo see that there's trouble coming, they herd together and they run towards the storm. The cows herd together and run away from the storm. What happens when the cows run away from the storm? Right? The cows are running away from the storm. The storm's coming. The cows see it and they're running in this direction, right? The storm catches them and they're running away from the storm. The cow stays in the storm longer. The cow is running from the storm. The cow is actively doing something. The cow is trying to avoid the storm for self-protection and self-preservation. But what the cow doesn't realize is that it's effort. The storm's going to happen. The storms in life are coming, whether we like them or not. There's never a way to avoid a storm if you live in the world, right? Some things there's rain and sun for a reason, right? We need the rain and the clouds as much as we need the sunshine. So there's going to be storms of life. There's going to be storms that we're not going to be able to avoid. But the cow's effort to run from it wears the cow out. And as the cow's running from it, the storm's caught up. The cow is running with the storm. The cow is living in the mess for so much longer because the cow is trying to not deal with the storm. The cow is trying to get away from the storm. And the lesson here is that you cannot get away from the storm. We cannot control that the storm is coming. The only thing that we can do is how do we handle the storm? Do we run head first into it? Because the buffalo, right? The buffalo, on the other hand, is there's some shit coming, whether we like it or not, right? Shit's coming, whether we like it or not. We can spend the next week in it, running with it, letting it live all over us, or we can run right at it and get to the other side of it and be better and healthier and happier for it, right? Think about that. If the storm is here, right? The storm's coming this way and the cows are running this way. The storm is just staying with the cows. You ever like had a thunderstorm go with you down the highway where everybody going in the opposite direction of you is driving right past the storm because they're going through the clouds, but it's already past the other side? On the other side of the mountains, the sky's clear. So when you look at life and you think about the storms and the tribulations and the trials and all the things that come at us, think about how much time we spend in this rain because we are trying to avoid it. How much time do we spend getting wet looking for an umbrella? How much time do we spend being pissed that we're wet because we don't have an umbrella versus saying, hey, part of life is being wet. That sounded dirtier than I wanted it to sound. I heard that after I said it. And with the serious topics, you have to have a little levity and a little laughter, right? Getting rained on, right? There's going to be a time in our lives where the rainstorm is what we need. But we spend so much effort trying to avoid and chase that if we just ran into it sometimes and said, hey, I've got to deal with this right now. And the quicker that I deal with it and the sooner that I reach it head on, the quicker I'm through it and it's past me. The storm goes past me because I'm going at the storm. Does that make sense to anybody? Can I get a hallelujah, amen, if that makes sense to people? Now, I'm going to tell you all this. I know there's a lot of people that, that makes sense of that, but I am more often a cow, and I'm going to say I'm more often an old cow than I am a buffalo, right? We try to navigate life in a way that is the least amount of uncomfortable, right? And we don't realize that sometimes the avoidance efforts of trying to get around it and skirt it and all the things are causing more energy and more trouble than just dealing with the thing. Does that make sense? Is everybody like, hallelujah, amen, and that making sense to people? Can I get some feedback in the comments, right? Can I get some feedback in the comments on what your thoughts are on that? Because, I thought it was very, very, very it was one of those epiphanies to me. It was victim and victor, right? Because here's the thing. Knowing that someone's going to have maybe you and your best friend, things have just been weird, right? Maybe you and your partner, things have just been weird. And you know that there's got to be a conversation, or you know that there's got to be a little storm to get through. But you try to skirt around it, you try to avoid it, you try to make arrangements. It's like seeing the person in the Walmart and you're like, oh, I got to get away from that person. I'm like, just go talk to them because you're going to spend all your time in your grocery store, right? You are speaking to my soul. I'm glad that I am randomly off and able to tune in this one. I am glad that you're randomly off and able to tune in this morning too. And that's the thing, right? These messages come when we don't even realize. And I realize how much time am I spending as a cow? How much time am I spending? How much energy am I giving up? How much of my life am I losing trying to avoid the inevitable? Trying to soften the blow or whatever the thought that you're doing. But in all reality, we know what it is, right? We're just being a cow. We're just trying to run from the storm. When if we stopped and allowed the storm to happen, the storm will then pass because this too shall pass. I did a training when I was a corporate trainer for travelers. And it was called Eat the Frog. And it was a time management training, which came into play when I was listening to this. I'm like, you know what? There's 1,000,001 ways to say the same thing, but it's all the same thing, right? How many of you have ever had this thing that's been going on? Maybe it's like having a conversation. Maybe it's a task. Maybe it's like cleaning a room or a closet or doing a task in your house or a yard work or whatever the case may be. You had a task that needed to be done and you allowed it to sit and fester. And every day you're like, I got to do that. I need to do that. Oh, I don't want to fuck with that today. I just don't want to mess with that today. And in your mind, this task is this daunting, awful, horrible thing that it's just going to be like this miserable experience for you because you don't want to do it. It's your frog, right? It's the frog sitting there looking at you. Like, I don't want to eat this frog. It's going to be disgusting. I eat the frog, right? It's like you don't want to eat the frog. It's green, it's slimy, it's got like warts on it. That's not what you want to do. Eventually you got to eat the frog. You don't want to do it. But I'm going to tell you, when you let that sit there, it steals your joy. When you don't run into the storm, when you try to avoid these storms, you don't eat your frog, it takes up way more time. You stay in the storm so much longer. It beats you up. And when the cows, when the storm catches, when they're so exhausted that they can't run anymore, they just stop and they lay down together. And guess what happens? The same thing that would have happened had they been rested and well fed and 6 miles ago and they weren't 20 miles from home. The storm was still going to pass. The storm was still going to get them rain on them. The storm was still going to let the winds blow. The lightning was going to strike. And what was going to happen was going to happen. The frog example, right? You eat the frog. You handle the situation. I have had so many tasks that I have let eat up and control so much of my life because I'm like, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to mess with this. And then when I'm feeling like I have no option, today is the day that this task is due or that this thing has to be done because I got to like move or something weird like that. It's like, crap. I'm like, I've spent months avoiding this and like it stressing me out and like it stealing my joy. And it took me less than 5 minutes to do it. And it really wasn't that big of a deal. Anybody have a situation that's like, yep, that's, I've been there. I've done that. I know what you're saying, right? Because we all do it. And as I was sitting here last week, really struggling with like, I am not fit to lead this community. I do not have the strength. I do not have the words. My life is as a freaking mess as everybody else's. I am trying to, be the better version of myself, the favorite version of myself. And I still make mistakes and I still avoid the storm sometimes. And I still try to run away from it sometimes. And I said to God, I'm like, I am not, this is not. It's like, whew, I'm like, I'm going to need, and God said to me in the universe or gods or whatever you want to call it, said to me, he's like, this is not about you. Whenever you will know and stand in your power and know that you are divinely guided and protected. We give you the words. I'm just a clear and perfect channel. God said, stop trying so hard. Stand and listen. Stop and listen. I stopped last week. Y'all have not seen me live a whole ton. I was like, if you don't have anything to say, then shut the hell up. And I had to stop and I had to listen. And that's when, we all have, every single person here watching me, every person who I watch, every person walking this planet is divine. Every single one of us has divinity within us. Every single one of you inspire me daily. And God's like, you all are divine. See the divinity in others and see how you can help others bring out their divinity. We'll give you the words, just stand and know. And recognize that just your presence is all you have to offer this world, and that's enough. But we continue to run from the storm, and we let the energy of the storm make us believe that we're not worthy. It makes us believe that things aren't possible. It makes us believe that abundance is limited, not limitless. The buffalo, they're like, you know what? Shit's going to happen. We're going to run into the storm. Some of us will make it, some of us won't, but we'll be done with it. And we're out of the other side of it, right? Now, do you think the buffalo just knew that off the bat and cows didn't? Right? Do you think that that's the case? Do you think that buffalo just knew that and cows didn't? Or do you think that it's probably... do you think that it is maybe a little bit of the fact that the buffalo learned from the mistake of running? They're like, whoo, it's tiresome on these plains running from these storms, right? So if you're someone who like naturally, like your natural instinct is to like avoid, like I'm not confrontational, I don't like storms. Know that that's a learned behavior, right? That's a learned behavior. You learn to stand in the storm. You have the power and the strength within you to be a buffalo, right? And some it's like what's it? Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug, right? And give yourself grace when you're the cow, right? Sometimes I'm the cow and I run a little ways from the storm, but I don't run a long ways. Sometimes I'm like, I'm not ready to deal with the storm right this minute. I'm gonna run a little ways over here. Let me get myself together, and then I'm gonna turn around and run into the storm. And I say that all the time, right? It's victim or victor. It's, are you in the mess? Are you ready for your message? And sometimes I'm in my mess. Sometimes the storm and I are like running. We're like on a relay race, and I'm looking over, going, "All right, storm, I got to do something, right?" And like, stop, like try to avoid. But what I'm saying is, you're all a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. I am a work in progress, right? Some cow herds probably run 5 miles, some cow herds run 30, right? And then, like I said, the buffaloes just said, fuck it, let's go right into it. I want to be a buffalo. I want to be a buffalo, and I want to be strong enough and confident enough and empowered enough and healed enough and all the things enough, right? For when I sense the storm is coming, to be able to use all the tools that I've been given, like stand in my I am affirmations, make sure my energy is clear, be able to approach it. All of those things are great and dandy and all of the stuff, right? We are all works in progress. Intentionality. That's my intention. Some days I make that happen. Some days I tell people, I made it happen, Captain. Other days I struggle with it. But every day I try. And that's what I'm going to tell you today. It doesn't matter today whether you are a buffalo or a cow, whether you run into or you run away from. It just matters that every single day you get up, you go out into the field, and you put one foot in front of the other, and you try to do something. And here's the thing. The message about the cow and the buffalo was to give you some perspective of it, that the storm is coming regardless. And I know that somebody out there today is struggling with a storm. And my message to you today is this. If you are struggling with the storm of life, because it's not going to be a physical like thunderstorm, right? Maybe it's a conversation with a spouse or a partner. Maybe it's a conversation with your children. Maybe it's a conversation with yourself. Maybe it's the way that you treat yourself. Maybe you know that there's some health issues that you're not approaching, whatever it may be, right? But what I want you to do today, right, is if you're running from the storm, I want you to stop and I want you to think about it, right? Every other storm and every other day that was meant to take you off this planet didn't. You're here today listening to me. So know that this one is no different, and know that you can attack your storm head on, and that just even if you run from it or you attack it head on, there's a good possibility that there's going to be some uncomfortable wind, some lightning strikes, some rain. You might lose a few shingles. You know what I mean? You might get your pants legs might get wet. But guess what? There's always there's a rainbow and a sunshine after the storm. And the sooner you get through the storm, the sooner the sun can shine again, right? The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow, right? There'll be sun. So remember that. Remember that even if today is blue and dark and gray, because it is kind of dark and gray outside, right? That there is always sunshine on the horizon. And it's funny because I had this friend of ours, a friend of the family. I told the story before. He used to say, he called everybody son. And I remember somebody says, "I'm not your son." And he's like, "I don't call you son because you're mine. I call you son because you shine." And I love that saying, right? It's like that's the beauty part of it, right? It's like in any storm, in any situation, you have the ultimate ability to create your own sunshine. And on the flip side of that, a lot of times, because we are running and we are sensing danger, we are also creating our own storm. The more energy that we pour into that storm and that fear of that storm, the more power that it gets, right? The more the clouds get more, like looming or dangerous or, scary or whatever. My words won't come out today. My vocabulary is very large, but I can't get, proper words out today. So, it's going to happen or it's not. And some things are inevitable, and you just have to allow the raindrops to hit your head occasionally. And if you are somebody right now, like I said, who is running from your storm, I'm going to encourage you to stop running from your storm. I'm going to encourage you to stand in the wind, to have a Captain Dan moment, be like, that's all you got, right? And know that on the other side of that, you're going to be happier and healthier for it. Because here's the deal, right? And that analogy of the cow and the buffalo, both of those animals go through the storm. There is never an example of that. There's a storm coming, right? Nobody's getting out of the storm. Somebody's like, be like the chicken and fly away. Like that's what I'm thinking. But what I'm getting at is that it's all about your mindset and your choices, right? You have a choice of how you handle it. And a lot of times when we're in a storm, one of the things that makes us feel so uneasy and uncomfortable and so lost in the sauce is our ability to not be able, right, to control it. But here's the thing. You can't control everything that's happening. You can't control a storm, but you can 100% control how you react to the storm. And that's the bigger message here. The storm is happening, but what you choose and how you choose it is going to make the difference in your life. And that is with anything and everything in your life. That's what I'm talking about. I can't control what you do as a human being. I do not have control over Denny. I do not have control over Melanie, over Sarah, over Shannon, over all of it. I do not have control over what you do. My staff that's here, I don't control what they do. I do not. I cannot control other people's behaviors. The only thing that I have autonomy over and control of is what I do, how I react, how I exchange energy, my behaviors, and all of those things. And if you are worried about the rest of the world, the first place to start is looking within. And when I went through this journey back in 2019 and I was like at this place where I didn't know what to do, the first place that I started with me and what I put in my body, right? I said, that's the one thing I can control is what do I give to myself? I can't control my job, right? I can't control that. And right now I have to go to this job that I do not love, right? I have to go to this job that I don't like. I hate it. But I have bills to pay. I can't control that right now. I was like, what are the things that I can control that I have autonomy over? What I eat, what I drink, what I say, what I look at, what I listen to, the people I surround myself with. So the things that are going to affect my sphere of influence, I can control. And then from there, I'm able to find another part of my life that I can take control over, right? Okay, now I'm in a place where I can see clearly. Now, this morning, about 7 o'clock this morning, I posted, and I'm going to share with y'all what I posted. As you know, this is a woo-woo and weed. That's what I'm all about, right? Woo-woo and weed. We are working with the membership on a 7-month or until it's done, energy management, our chakra aligning workshops. And what I'm doing with that, and the reason that came to fruition and all the things, is because this has always been about, for me, about how anything in moderation, right? That's what we're about here at Hometown Hippie. It is about elevating ourselves and about helping give you the tools to be able to take control of your life, right? Where you can make the decision whether or not you're going to be the cow or the buffalo, and you're not just letting the storm just throw you about and you're not any of it, right? You're able to have the tools that you need to manage your energy to make those decisions on whether you're a cow or a buffalo, how you decide to do things. And I want to encourage people to stand in their victor mentality, to stand in your, I see the message in my mess, and I understand that things don't happen to me, they happen through me. And in this ugly, ugly world that we live in, this was so important to me as a mission, as a healer, as a light worker, because it's about the power of one. And I do these things because I believe that every day I have a responsibility as a human being to help raise the vibration of the planet, the collective vibration. And when I say that, you, me, every person in this planet is part of the collective human race. That's the collective. That's what I call raise the vibration of the collective. So what I say is that the human race is the collective of people. We are all collected here on this planet as one human race. And it is my responsibility or my goal or my end game, like my soul's purpose, is to every day to help raise the vibration of our planet by helping individual people, by helping human beings. I say that I cannot go out and I can't touch the entire world with a magic wand. Leviosa, right? I can't Leviosa everybody into being. But every day, you, me, everybody, we have the ability to go out and help change the world for one other human being. And I have a platform and I try to do it as much as I can and say, like, I'm like that, that if this is the Bible, like we gotta get it done, right? But it is just about being living in truth and being an example. And I have lived as a cow, strongly as a cow, where I avoided everything I could avoid. I believed that the world just was not fair, that I lived in my mess, that I was jaded. I was not polite to people. I was sarcastic. I threw poison darts. I lived my life in a way that was not pleasing to me, and it was not pleasing to anyone. It was not life affirming, and I paid the consequences of it. My health was bullshit. My finances were bullshit. My relationships were bullshit. And I didn't care if I woke up in the morning or not. Anybody ever been there, done that, have the t-shirt worn out? Because I have. And on July 19th of 2019, I made a decision that I was no longer going to live my life that way. And now that I'm on the other side of the storm, and I've decided to be a buffalo and run into it, and now I'm going to get wet. I'm going to get bruised up and battered from the storm. I'm going to lose some shingles. But damn it, I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being an old cow. And I felt like an old cow, right? Milked all the time. People take what they can take from you and throw you out to pasture. Don't care if you're protected or not. That's how I felt, right? And so when I come and do these talks and these things, it is truly about the power of one. And this energy workshop, and why the woo-woo is so important with this, it is really very much about, this was what God put in my path of what you, Tammy, this is what this is about. It is about providing people the tools and the ability to have someone say it in a way that maybe they can understand it. And I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm meditating on that's the case. But what God told me when I was having my struggles this last week, God said, Tammy, it is not for yours to wonder why. It is just for yours to do and die. And that has been coming up a lot. It's the what is it? The brigade, it's a poem, and that's a line in the poem. It is not for yours. It's not for you to wonder why. It is just for you to do or die. And it's about when you're going into battle and listen, you're not supposed to ask questions when you're working as a team and you're under the tutelage of the military. It is all about executing tasks and getting done. And God said to me, Tammy, I've told you and I've told you and I've told you. You want to understand why, and if you're making a difference, you want to see it and all the things. What God is telling me is you have to detach from the outcome. If everybody watching me is sitting, if there's 9 people, it says on my live right now, on this little corner, 10 people right now. It says 10 people right up here is what it says to me, 10 people. God said to me, Tammy, if 9 of those people are rolling their eyes, laughing at you and making a mockery of you, but one person doesn't, that gets up today and can make a positive change in their life, if one person hears something that they're supposed to hear, then you have done your job. It is about the power of one. And you are not to stress and worry and all these things. You're just to do and just go and execute. Stop stressing over the rest of it. So here I am today, back on my bullshit, right? Back on my nonsense, committing to the process, detaching from the outcome and saying the words and believing that it takes one person. In this energy workshop, sometimes we've got 20 people that show up. Sometimes we have 2 people that show up. And God said, you need to drop out some of the tools because people need them. And so I'm going to read you the post I posted today in case you missed it. I want you to go back and I want you to grab it. And I want you to affirm with me today, right? I want you to make some affirmations today. So this is what the post is. I'm going to read it to you and share with you what we're doing. So if you've noticed a feeling of unease and anxiety recently and want to feel more grounded and whole, root chakra affirmations are a great place to start. The root chakra, so somebody's like, what the hell is that? I'm trying to give you the tool so you know what we're talking about here. The root chakra is located at the base of your spine and helps to withstand challenges and helps you feel grounded. When our root chakra is open and flowing in good things, we feel secure, grounded, and connected. If you are feeling all the other things, it's normally that it's closed or it's off kilter and all of that. There are 7 chakra centers in your body. The root chakra is the base. It's like the foundation. We started there because, if the foundation is good, the things you build up on the foundation kind of stand and do their thing. So today right now we're talking about the root chakra. We've got a root chakra healing box. We're doing root chakra meditations. We also have these affirmations, and I'll be dropping out some tools you can use to be able to help you to get there. So if you're craving grounding and the opening of your root chakra, these 25 affirmations are a great place to start. So there are 25 I am statements that I came up with. We listed them here. And you are to stop in your day today. I want you to go out and do this every day until you can feel the difference. This is a good journaling prompt. This is how you utilize this tool to make a difference in your life, right? If you're trying to decide if I'm going to be a victim or a victor, cows sometimes have got closed root chakras. Buffalo, kind of like, you know what? Shit's going to happen. I'm going to handle it how I'm going to handle it. Quicker I get through this, the better I'm back to me. Right? So these things are going to help you to maybe change. This is a tool, right? A tool. If I'm going to help raise the collective vibration, it's not going to be done by blah, blah, blah. Here's how, because you have to do the work, right? You out there watching me have to do the work to get yourself in line. I can't do it for you. I can't control you. Just like I can't control or I can't take credit for, I have no autonomy over your decisions, whether they're good or bad. I can't claim your victories and I can't live in your defeat. Neither of those things are my responsibility, or neither of those things are my credit. They're none of those things. That's on you. Your life and the choices that you make and the life that you live, nobody other than you controls that. Period. End of story. Right? I can thank y'all for supporting me and giving me the courage because you do it every day. But at the end of the day, my wins and my losses are solely mine to have, just like yours are. They're no one else's responsibility or no one else's reality but your own. So here are the tools to help you run into that storm a little bit more, with a little more chutzpah. I am financially secure. I am independent. I am protected in this world. I am rooted in the present moment. I am exactly where I'm meant to be. I have a radiant spirit. I feel safe in my body. I wake up every day feeling strong. I live a happy life. I have a healthy, powerful body. I am vibrant. I am loved and supported by the people around me. My body always takes care of me. I am full of energy. I am open to life's experiences. The universe will always provide. It will all work out. I am one with my true self. I am rooted firmly to the earth. Deep inner peace is my natural state. I have the support I need to navigate difficult situations. Hey. I am grounded and whole. I remain calm in all situations. I am protected. I wake up every day feeling empowered. Now, as you go through those statements and you say those with the more veracity and the more energy you put into it, the more you're going to get that back. So if you put it into the universe as like, I am independent, that's going to be veracity. That means the universe knows you mean it. And the universe picks up on that. Language is important, right? So say those things out loud and mean them, okay? But I want you to take notice. This is how you start figuring out your energy, how you start feeling it, how you start doing the work. Can you get some thumbs up, some hearts, some O faces, some hallelujah amens if this stuff is helping, right? If this stuff is the stuff that you want to see. One person needs it, I know. I'm going to keep going, but I want to know who here, this is the kind of stuff you need because I want to make sure we're doing more of the things you need. So notice when you say these things, right? If you have any reaction. which means like, did your stomach kind of like, did you feel like a little butterfly in your belly? Did you have trouble saying that? Did you kind of snicker when you were like, I am financially sound? Like, oh, I wish. Like, where did those things that you did not feel in integrity when you said them out loud, right? Because like, you can say that shit all day long, but unless, you know, you mean it, right? So that's what I'm saying. This is how you start doing the work to be able to truly open up your root chakra. Okay. So if you're brand new to this and you say these 25 statements, but like 5 of them make your stomach upset and you never address why those 5 statements make your stomach upset, then you're not going to open up your root chakra. You're just going to keep running from the storm, right? You know there's something, but you're not willing to deal with it. That's is how the analogy works with this. Okay. So, take note in the areas that you know you felt a little twing in or didn't feel like you could really say that and mean it. Those are the areas that you need to journal through and that need a little attention, a little TLC. Okay, that's how we work through it. You come with that. If you're looking for work on energy healing and work, when we come in to do these meditations for our root chakra classes, bring that for discussion. This is what we're supposed to be doing in workshopping things. If anybody wants to put anything in comments that you want to share, like where did you feel out of alignment with that? I'm going to tell you where I fell out of alignment with that. I don't always feel safe in my body as a woman. And I wrote and journaled through that last night about why do I not feel safe in my body and why is my root chakra still a little wonky? Because I'm still dealing with some sexual trauma from when I was younger and there's something that happened that I have to deal with. I don't always feel safe in my body. I don't always wake up feeling strong. Some days I have to give myself a pep talk and I'm like, why am I not waking up powerful? Why am I waking up feeling some kind of way? Is there a before bed routine I need to handle, right? I am rooted in the present moment. I had to journal through rooting through the present moment because sometimes I live in the future or I beat myself up over the past. And what I came up with is that yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery. And that's why today is called a present, because it's a gift. And you have to live in the present moment and be happy and healthy for the things that you have. When I was doing this whole come to Jesus talk about, I don't feel worthy, God says to me, in this moment, you are exactly where you were supposed to be. You would have killed to be where you in this place 10 years ago, and you are forgetting the present. You are forgetting to find gratitudes in what you have been given because you are worried about what could be. And that is a root chakra thing, and that is a journal through prompts. I'm doing the work with you. But I'm going to encourage you, right, to stop being a cow when it comes to this work and start being a buffalo, knowing that this is going to happen. And the picture that I posted with this said, the same lessons will present themselves over and over again until you learn from them and commit to making a change, right? And so that's what I'm getting at, right? When you're doing this work and you're deciding whether, if you're a cow, the storm keeps coming because it's going to catch up with you eventually. So that was why this all kind of came together when I was doing, like, you sit and be still. God will answer your questions. So what I said in this is like, I hope that you will allow yourself permission to care for your energetic body as you do for your physical body. Because when you have a little twinge or a little pain, you go to the doctor to find out why your stomach is hurting, right? And what I'm going to tell you is when you start doing the energetic work, you're going to find that there's a lot less physical work to do because the energetic work causes physical problems and illness. I live in a tornado of my own creation. Grounding, focus, and presence is a daily battle. The key for me is doing the work I need to and not ignoring. Thanks for you are so very welcome. And go back and watch the beginning of this. We're talking about that exact specific thing. So I'm going to encourage you all to start doing the energetic work and understanding that it's every day. We're doing here in this group a 7-month doing all 7 chakras, about a month per chakra. We're doing a 7-month energy workshop series that takes a deeper dive that includes healing, group healing meditations. But I'm going to be sharing the chakra exercises here in the group to help the community out. But if you really want to commit to the work, come join the community. You can pay for the classes individually if you don't want to join the community. It's $22 for the virtual for the year for this. It's well worth it. That's probably less of an exchange of energy than I need for this, but it's also my Reiki level 2 project that I've created for myself. As many of you know, everything we do here is Reiki infused. I am Reiki level 2 at this point, moving into my Reiki master at the end of the year. And I want to put this into actionable work, my Reiki work, my healing through food, my healing through meditation and boxes, group healing. And so I allow this exchange of energy to be less than it probably should be from a monetary standpoint, because you're allowing me to work on my practice, my Reiki practice as well. So I appreciate all of you for allowing me to use you as my little Reiki project people. So that is some of the exercises that we're doing. Now, a couple of things that I want to share if you are local, even if you aren't local and you want to join us via electronics, we are going to starting next week. I'm going to get all the details of it. We're going to go probably walk it ourselves this week, but we are going to start doing a healthy hippie hangout. And healthy hippie hangout is not just walking. It's not just whatever. It is also, we're going to do some morning affirmations. So we're going to start doing this work. Hey, Heather, hope you're having fun fishing. We're going to start meeting at Wilkes Lake down the street here at 8:00 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Maybe Wednesdays and Fridays, start with 2 days a week. We're going to get our feet in the dirt. We're going to take a moment to get ourselves grounded. We're going to work on whatever chakra we're working on. We are going to do some affirmations. And then we are going to fellowship. We're going to walk around the lake. It's about a 2-mile walk around the lake. We're going to do it at your own pace. You can fellowship and have conversations and talk about things with each other. Or you can put your earbuds in and do your thing. Some days I might talk. Some days I might walk, right? Both days I'm walking. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's an ability there. So we're 51 minutes, and I try to be within an hour. I'm really trying to hold that because I have things I have to do as well. We did not do Sunday sermon yesterday, so we are going to do our Sunday sermon card pull today, our crystal card affirmation pull. That way we have that for our journaling for the week. I hope that many of you will stand in this, and I would love for you to affirm, I am doing the work. If you are somebody who is going to commit to the process this year, detach from the outcome, if you want to join our Power of One, our collective, if you would like to raise the vibration of the collective and start with you, because if you're someone right now who's running away from the storm, if you're the cow and you can't face the storm, the person that you need to work on right now, the person that you need to pour in right now is you. And I'm going to encourage you to join us. I am doing the work. I love it. I'm going to encourage you to know that you are important and that you are the most important investment that you'll ever make. You are the best investment you will ever make. And progress over perfection. We got a lot of fun stuff going on here in the community this month. I hope that you will come out, show up for these things. Signing up and then staying at home is not helping you either. So I know a lot of people are avoiding the storm. People avoid me whenever they have a lot of shit going on and they don't want to deal with it. I know that I am sometimes, I'm like, there's a storm. I can feel it. It's like my spidey senses go crazy. And so many of you right now are avoiding me. Like, I have hey, you come back. I was, but I'm going to stay home tonight. And I'm like, yeah, you're avoiding me for something because you're not in integrity and you know that I can feel it. And I love y'all. And I'm like, the storm will pass and they will come back and they will see us. But I'm going to encourage you to be the buffalo. Come on into the storm. Let us help you get through it. Let your herd help you, right? We run together into the storm. They don't do it by themselves. That's the other point of this, right? They get together. And what you're like, think about if a buffalo, right? If one buffalo was in a herd of cows and all of them started running away from the storm, I'm going to guarantee you that one buffalo is going to go with the crowd. And the same thing, if there's one cow and a bunch of buffalo, that cow is going to go right there with those buffalo and follow the herd because that's herd mentality. So I want you to think about that as well. That is, God's like, you got to say that because there's people out there. So if you are somebody whose herd is running, find you a herd that approaches that storm and is there to help you through it, right? Fish on, gotta go. Have fun, Heather. So we're going to pull our affirmation card, our crystal card for the week. You're going to inhale the good, exhale the bad. Okay, this is our card today. Interesting. We've been getting a lot of the same cards lately, and it's like the universe said to me, is like, we're going to keep pulling those cards because the person who needs to do that is not doing that. And so there's somebody out there who needs a little citrine, which says bring in the light. So there's somebody, and it's interesting because citrine is the cornerstone of our home personal grow. And our plants that we put at home, our 4 wedding cakes that we planted, they were kind of looking a little weak and timid. And I put a little Reiki on there and put a cornerstone into my grow. And those things are off the charts. So bring in the light. So if you are struggling on the struggle bus today, I'm going to encourage you to bring in the light. It says, let the sunshine pout in. Some spiritual vitamin D will lift your spirits and your sights on life. Let happiness be a choice you make every day. Just like the sun bursts through the fog on a cloudy day, you have the ability to bring light in, even when you might be feeling a little blue, right? We just talked about that today. This is a perfect card for today. Even when you're feeling blue, you have the ability to bring in sunshine. You are in charge of the weather within your inner environment. This is exactly what today's message was about. If you're not changing it, you're choosing it. You have the ability to control you. You can't control the sky, but you can control the perspective of how you see it. Embrace what it feels like to feel good and make a conscious effort to walk in the light. Make a conscious effort to stay in the light. This is a powerful card. What brightens your day? When are you the happiest? How does it make you feel to stand in the sunlight? All those questions are amazing. Crystal action, affirm. I let the light back in. I let the light back in. Today, watch the sunrise or the sunset and allow the sun or the light to come back into your life. I'm also going to encourage you to find a herd that stands with you and runs with you, okay? And whatever way you're going, your herd goes, and that you are attracted, you're around like-minded people. We have a full moon, I think, the next couple of days. I may do a full moon something. I don't know. I'm going to play it by ear. We're going to keep it up. We are still waiting to hear. I'm waiting to hear from the bank. I should hear something today. The goal is today. My intentionality is that I will get the call today, and that I will be able to go and get my food truck this week without there being any issues. Everything always works out for us. I am financially sound. I am strong. I am important. This matters. Those are my affirmations. I'm just saying those out loud to be, so be it, so it is, right? So be it, and so it is. We are waiting on that call. We are working on our vendor spreadsheet for a Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. I've got some things happening this week, some things going on. I will be posting an update. We know that we have our Wednesday night take-home meal is going to be hamburger steak. Y'all asked. It's back this week by popular demand. Hamburger steak, mashed potatoes and gravy, green beans, and rolls. We know that we have Heart Space Meditation on Thursday. We have our Peace, Love, and Feast Fest meeting here at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night. Online, be like 6:15, 6:30. Probably get started about 6:30. We have so much stuff. Reiki level 1 is here in the, Reiki level 2 is here in the Zen this weekend. So I know Sarah and Selena are going to be here this weekend doing that. We're going to be gone to we have our culinary consult next Monday. We will be out of the office. We will be closed next Monday. So that is happening. Heart Space, What's Up Wednesday. We're taking it kind of easy this week. We're not getting too crazy about things. I have to look at the calendar to see where we even are. Our Shamrock boxes, our St. Patrick's Day stuff. We have some plans for that. So those things, we will be dropping those out the 1st of March. There will be a new scratcher contest. I will announce it whenever we get it all set up and done. There will be on your scratchers, you will see starting in March, there will be a Shamrock. And if you get the Shamrock, you're going to win a Shamrock surprise. So we're going to do these little gold coins, and you'll either get a gold coin or a Shamrock. The Shamrock's going to unlock like a one treat, and the gold is like one gold coin, and that's going to unlock the grand prize for St. Patrick's Day. They're going to those special scratchers will be going in all the St. Patrick's Day boxes starting in March. Lots of fun stuff going on for that. And on that note, we're out. It's 58 minutes and 57 seconds. I love you. I hope that today that you will take a few moments to stand in your power, that you will decide whether or not you're going to run into the storm or run away from it, and know that you are supported by us. And whatever you do, we're going to love you through it. But I hope that you will decide to run in and get through it and deal with it. And on that note, we end these lives like we do every time, with a little peace, a little love, a little peace, a little love, and a little feast. And as always, y'all, stay elevated. I love you. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.